Okay. 2 men and a dick. Go.
Yeah. I want to apologize for running a little late. I had to, I guess it's the anticipation, the excitement. I had to take a dump before I started this. It's kind of like when I used to score Coke. You know, I'd get the Coke in my hand. I'd immediately have to go take a dump. You know, it's like.
I like how you're apologizing for something which is pre-recorded, so people won't know if you're late or not. But thank you.
Yeah.
I know the Coke feeling, though. Without even putting it in your body, man, you're already starting to get the
amped up, and it's like the anticipation.
Yeah. You know that
you crazy fuckers.
It's not the Coke though. It's the cut. They put like that baby laxative in there.
Well, that's what they say, but I would have to take a dump before I did a line, man. It was
We've just gone over a minute and we're straight into cocaine.
Yeah, we're not wasting any time. That's the cocaine bandits right there.
Yeah, that was a cocaine fueled.
You set us up.
This is memories of Ben Rankin's childhood. What he suffered through.
Traumatic, man.
It's a good album, though, man.
Yeah, it's not bad. It takes a bad rap. Am I glitchy?
There's a reason. Nah, you're not too bad.
Don't humor me, man, because I don't want to look stupid.
Well, we
stupider.
Oh, good. Oh, good. That wasn't a glitch. I was just intentionally staying still for a second just to freak you out.
Yeah. I got it.
Yeah. You're ahead.
So what's on the agenda?
Okay, I'll check last week's minutes from that meeting, and
well, Paul McCartney had his 80th birthday.
Really?
Holy shit!
They're all gonna.
How old's Ringo?
He's older, I think.
Is Ringo older than Paul?
Yeah, I think he was the oldest.
Yeah. 82 or 3 or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Ringo. I'll do some.
That's my dog's name.
Your daughter or your dog?
He was born in 1940, so that makes him.
Holy mackerel.
84?
84 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's quite a bit older.
Shit, I didn't know that. I thought he was younger.
There you go. So, I have a question for you, Richie, because I recently did one of them interview things with George the Blockhead.
Yeah.
And afterwards, we were having a chat about you, and in your guest appearance, you showed quite a selection of Hall and Oates and things like that. And what was the other one you showed? I can't remember. But anyway, he was mystified by. He was like, he's purging all of these amazing punk rock singles and things, and he's keeping this shit. And it was just made us both think, yeah, what's his goddamn system if he's getting rid of that and keeping Hall and Oates?
I actually liked 70s Hall and Oates. 80s Hall and Oates, I don't like at all. I mean, it's kind of catchy, but it wasn't my thing. But especially the late 70s, I like there's like 3 albums that I really dig.
I think I have like 2 or 3 albums of theirs.
Yeah.
I don't know the 70s stuff at all. What's it like?
It's that solo album, the Daryl Hall solo album, that's a lot edgier than it's. Robert Fripp plays guitar. Fripp
really
produced it. It's a good album, man, really.
Okay. I would never have picked Robert Fripp and Daryl Hall.
Their
Yeah.
early stuff is very like soulful. I mean, it's kind of like, I want to say like Blue Eyed Soul kind of. They're good. I always thought they were great.
Wow. Sorry for shitting on Hall and Oates.
No,
No, you're all right.
it's all good. Hey, do you know this band?
What?
Ku
I
Klux
don't.
Frankenstein?
No, I don't
I
think I
can't
do.
see it.
Yeah.
What's it called? Sorry.
Ku Klux Frankenstein.
No.
I've heard of it.
It's a
They're
good
from
name.
Australia.
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't know everyone in Australia. I know it's small.
Victoria, Australia, I guess.
Well, that's even worse. That's the state I live in.
Yeah. Crash Records.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Ku Klux Frankenstein.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Speaking of
Yeah.
new bands that I discovered this band here. I asked you guys about it when I texted you not too long ago. They're called Plague Vendor. They're from
Yeah,
California.
that's right.
Kind of like an amped up like White Stripes, kind of maybe a little of the Killers, but more dark punk kind of vibe to it. Killer
Cool.
Live. Look at that. Like live shot there.
That's a good
No.
Yeah,
shot.
you'll have to check them
Yeah.
out. This is like my new obsession right here, this band.
That's quite old. Ku Klux Frankenstein. I just looked that up. That's like 85.
See, for me, that's new.
Okay.
Me too. This album
It's
is
funny,
20
man. Anything after 1999 or is like new to me. I don't know. And it's actually like what 25 years ago. You know, it's like
Yeah.
This is probably my newest album. It's 2016. That's probably my most recent album I own.
Wow. This will be really new for you then. We got the new Civic record, which is the I banged on about them a while back. They did their last record called Taken by Force, which was produced by Rob Younger from Radio Birdman. And they're like kind of in that vein of the like kind of that Radio Birdman Saints thing, but the guy who sings, he's just got that great classic punk bark. Like it's not like unmelodic, if that makes sense. He's still like that. Yeah, this is the brand new Civic one, fucking cool, called Chrome Dipped. So I'll have to do a shed burner on this one. This is really good.
how many albums do they have?
I think I got 3 and a couple of EPs altogether. So the
What's the band name?
Civic, Civic.
Gotcha.
Cool. And some other young whippersnappers called Clam. They're awesome too. I actually thought this was an EP, and then when I got it, it's like a full-length record. More in that kind of more influenced by like bands, I guess, like Wire, that kind of punk. Bit more arty, cool. And this one's for you, Richie. I have not listened to this yet, but it's the new Ty Segall, Possession.
I've never even seen that yet.
That's the one that's just come out recently. So I
I
haven't
hope
had a
it's a
chance.
little heavier than his last album.
Yeah, he goes all over the joint. Like he'll do an acoustic record, he'll do a psych record, do a garage record. He did some like new wavy stuff a while back, almost like electronic-y things. But
yeah,
I like he mixes it up. So
yeah. His last acoustic one that I listened to, I streamed it on Bandcamp, and I go, I'll never listen to this if I buy it, so I passed.
Yeah, I know you're the manipulator, man.
Yeah, I like a lot of his stuff.
Hmm.
So you guys are aware of the new VC news, the contest or the head-to-head contest that the Vinyl Voyage is doing?
Yep, I'm
Yeah,
in it.
that yeah. I'm in it too, and I'm gonna go head-to-head with Headley. I I have a strong suspicion that he's gonna be able to move on to round two quite easily.
Well, I got Harris Pilton, and I think it was
Oh man,
Rob
that'd be fun.
Walker. Rob Walker wrote in the comments, "I predict a 0-0 draw."
Yeah, that's funny. No,
So
I
he
don't think it's
might be
gonna be
right.
that hard, you know.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
I hope
What
they're not as
exactly
hard as.
is it? What do you got to do to win? Like,
Well, it's just
there,
Jack has just put together a quiz, and he's pulled out of a hat. Was it 16 people from the VC, and
yeah.
two of you go head to head, and he asked the questions. I don't know what the format is yet. That you if you well, you can't really buzz in because you're doing it from your own home.
You
But
you you write it on a paper, and when you're both ready, you signal, and then you show the answer.
okay, I'm gonna
And
have a lot of.
I think there was 3 rounds. The first round was like random questions. The second round was like photos, and then you had to identify what the photo is. And I forget what the third round is. But I watched one this morning, so
That's gonna be hard because I only ever like record these on my phone, so the photos I'm not gonna be able to identify.
yeah,
It's like,
I'm on my phone too.
yeah,
But I mean, I have big holes that I know nothing about.
mm.
And then the stuff that I'm real familiar with, I've fucking forgotten most of it, you know? I mean, I'm a senior citizen, dude. So I think Headley's gonna this might be the first time that I've ever had my ass kicked by a fat bearded man, you know?
besides
Do
my
you think?
dad.
Do you think it's like also because like when you're younger you have less records, so you pour over those few that you've got more, so you know every single bit of it. Whereas as you get more shit, there's more information to retain. So
Yeah.
I don't know
But
if it's senior citizen. It's just too much stuff.
I think that's part of it. But a lot of the details I was never really interested in anyways, you know, it's just listen to the music and
Yeah. No, I would just read liner notes just because if you would be like, that guy is, I'd recognize that name on another record and think that might be good, sort of thing.
yeah, I didn't do
But,
much of that, to be honest.
but yeah, not as far as like, oh, this was recorded on a Wednesday at 2:30 and he had a slight cold that you can hear in his voice, all that bullshit. I just like, eh. It's too much. So Cosmic, I'm very interested because you were under the pump. What records you pulled to dazzle us with?
You mean like what we were talking about bands? I thought that after being kind of on the ground floor, thought they would get
Yeah,
bigger.
I like that idea.
Well, how about
That
I'm
was
going to
my
share one
idea.
that yeah, I know you
Don't
like
get
it.
testy.
I'm actually going to show a band that I thought would be big, but they never really did break through first because
Dawkins?
this is a band that that was really popular when I lived in Dallas. I mean, at the clubs and stuff, they had everything going for them. They always drew a good crowd. They had a former member of the band Pantera in their band, like they were the original singer. And they just kicked ass, and I thought for sure they'd make it big. But it's this band, Lord Tracy. They're from Dallas, Fort Worth area, and they're like just a like kind of party rock, but with a kind of a funky kind of not bluesy, but
Kind of sleaze rocky.
kind of funky and fun kind of. But and the singer for this band, Terry Glaze, was the original singer for Pantera, and then he kind of went on his own way and then started this band. But their bass player is kind of like a Primus, like a finger guy, you know, that
Yeah.
he's friggin' awesome. But yeah, they were supposed to be big, but they didn't make it past this album. I think they did another reunion album years later. But man, I thought these guys were going to be huge. They were a fun band live too.
Is that
They were like
like
between this one and Tripping Daisy, they were like my favorite Dallas bands when I lived down there.
oh yeah. Lloyd Tracy's like not the most memorable name.
Well,
not,
they were Tracy Lords, which was a porn star's name.
right,
And and then they got a lawsuit kind of a thing or a cease and desist. So they just flipped the name. Yeah. But yeah, cool album if you want to check it out.
Nice.
Very 80s though.
Yeah, I predicted that this band would be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Jeez.
I
The
was.
Beagles.
Yeah, I was on the Beagles really early.
Yeah. You know, I have two.
I couldn't help myself. Sorry, Cosmic, when you said that.
Yeah,
That's funny.
When I first saw Motley Crue, I could kind of tell right away these guys are gonna make it big. And the story is my cousin got kicked out of his house, so he stayed with me for like 3 months or so. And one night I told him, "Hey, let's go to the whiskey," and we checked out the Dickies. And he goes, "Man, they were cool." And he didn't know nothing about punk or anything. And then I guess I think it was the following weekend, he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna take you to the whiskey," and it was Motley Crue, and they didn't have their first album wasn't out or anything, and you could tell they were really good. And then I saw them like a year and a half later at Magic Mountain. There's the theme, the amusement park, and they used to have concerts there, and Motley Crue played there, and it was like a different. I mean, the sound was the same, but they had like skulls and pentagrams on the stage. I mean, the first time I saw them, it was like a Chicks with Dicks band, and then this time they were like a biker band, and it was like, or no, like a satanic band. And then the third time I saw them, they were like a biker band. The guy comes out riding on his Harley out onto the. It was like I seen him 3 times, and each time the image was different. And then the other band that I saw early on was L7. When I saw them, I go, and I told my friend, I go, they're gonna make it big. I think they're a little notch above everybody else that's playing on this bill. And he goes, "You think so?" He didn't see it, but I kind of, and I guess they got big to a certain extent, but they didn't blow up.
No, actually, I have one which I forgot about. I wasn't at the first show, but my friend actually. This is how small they were when they first come over here. They played this place called the Tote, which is, you get small international bands play there, plus smaller, it's probably a room that holds maybe 300 or 400 people, I think. And my friend is a drummer as well, and he loaned them his drum kit, and because that was how light they were traveling, and that was the White Stripes. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and I liked them back then because I was into a lot of that garage rock stuff, and they were on, I think, Sympathy for the Record Industry back then. So that was how I found out about them. And I missed them that first time, and he's like, "Oh, they're awesome live. Come and see them." And then the next time they played a slightly bigger place, but still not a huge place, and it was the same thing. It was just like, wow, there's something going on here, and like. back then, Jack White was just electric on stage. He was like fantastic, and they were just so raw. What was cool about him, and I fucking hate all those people who used to be like, "Oh, Meg White can't play drums" and all that shit, and she was perfect for what they did. It was
I think
just
so.
Yeah,
minimal,
exactly.
raw, yeah. And then like I
works.
saw them each time I saw them when they'd come out, they'd play a bigger place until, the last time was that I saw them was on the Get Behind Me Satan era, and they headlined the big day out, which was like our equivalent, I suppose, of Lollapalooza. So big festival. And they actually headlined above the Reformed Stooges on that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Admittedly, it was a hard act to follow. The Stooges just ripped it up. They were awesome. That was when Ron and Scott were still alive, and they had Mike Watt on bass.
Yeah, Mike Watt played with
and
him.
poor old Jack had to follow them. That was when he was going through his little pencil mustache stage with the big hat.
Yeah.
And, they were good, but you just can't follow Iggy.
Yeah, my friend that worked at Middle Earth Records, he got into the White Stripes quite early, and he saw them a few times, and he told me, "Man, you got to go check this band out." And yeah, you're right. They were awesome. They were so raw and just so ruckus. It was, and I think Meg White, she was great. I mean,
Yeah.
Everybody says the drummer for Rush is so great. He couldn't have done that, what she was doing. I mean, he probably could, but that's my take. I think she fit the bill perfectly.
Yeah. But I think that
I
proves
remember
the point. What's that, Matt?
I seen an interview with Jack White, and this was quite a while ago. And it was with him and Meg. They're both in on the interview, and he was saying he didn't want her to practice. He wanted her to be just like she was, like just kind of simple and raw, and because he didn't want her to be fancy or anything like that, because that was their sound. And shit,
Yeah.
he played like a Sears model guitar, because he wanted that really kind of like you said, raw, I guess, for lack of a better word, raw sound.
Yeah.
And
Very primitive sound.
Yep.
So cool. Yeah, one other one, which, not as big as the White Stripes, was I can't even remember who the main band was, and they were the support band, and they were kind of a scrappy garage band then, but they were not amazing but interesting, and thought, okay, and that was like the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and that was before they had two drummers for a long time, but then one of the drummers they didn't even have two kits. He had the unenviable task of just trying to look cool with the floor tom, which was a bit difficult. And and I kind of stored them in the back of my mind, and then the next thing I heard was their second record was this one, Eyes Like the Sky, and it's like a spaghetti western with Broderick Smith, who's the father of one of the guys in the band, he was like a 70s Australian country rock guy in a band called the Dingoes. He does the spoken word thing the whole way through about this story, and it's really good, and the music's great. And then I was kind of that's the second album. I was like, okay, this band's a little bit different from the norm, and then from there I was just all in and would just get everything. And actually I have just got the new one, Phantom Island.
Now, do you have all their stuff?
I have all of their studio records.
Yeah.
And some of those what they call their bootlegger series, which is from live shows. I've bought live ones to the gigs I've been to, so Melbourne ones, or there was a cool box set where they played at Red Rocks, and and it covers the whole 3 nights they were there, which was awesome. And they never played, I think, one song the same or something like that. But yeah, I'm actually going to see them at the end of this year in December. It's been sort of the longest stretch since I haven't seen them, because they've been overseas in the States for ages, in Europe, I think now.
When did their first album come out?
Oh, it must be like nearly 15 years ago now. Because they were all really, really young. I don't think it's got a date on it.
About around 2010 or something?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little bit earlier. I don't think it's got anything.
Didn't they come out?
Oh, look at that, man.
Do like about
101 of
17
500.
albums in like 3 years.
Yeah. Well, 1 year they released 5, and then the next year they only released 2, and then about 2 years later they released like 3 albums and 2 EPs or something like that. But yeah, I kind of 2012 this says. So yeah, that was the first full length one. There was an EP before that. But yeah.
I'm gonna have to more of their stuff. I have a few of their albums, but not enough.
Yeah, I would say, like, if you don't already have them, the best 2 to go into is the Nonagon Infinity record, and a more recent one called, it's got a link like Ice, Death, Mushrooms, Lungs, Lava, or something like that. It's like really almost canned krautrock stuff, just with incredibly searing guitar stuff on it. Like it's really, really good. Yeah, where they stretch out a bit, but it's not like wanky stretch out. It's like got real groove to it, and it's not meandering like, some long stuff. Anyway, that's 27 minutes. End of part 1.